Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome to my hobby blog. Today we are doing kind of a wrap-up video for Spooktober. I was very tired last night. I would have done it then, but I recorded the day 31 video and I just released it and I went to bed. So if I seem a little tired in that video, that's why. It was like 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m. I fell asleep while watching Trick or Treat. Woke up and the main menu was there, and I said, fuck. And I'd seen enough of it, and I've seen the movie many times that I didn't really not fast forward, but I didn't rewind it and rewatch the parts that I missed. So that's kind of why, if you're wondering. But today we are going to go through each release that I watched this month. There's a few that I don't have anymore that I actually traded. But I have mostly everything here. There are 73 titles to show. Some of them are box sets that I watched. Some of them are various movies from a box set. One box set I only watched one movie from, etc. So we're going to go in order from October 1st all the way to last night, which was Halloween, if you are watching this. Not today, not when it was released, but... So we're just going to go through and just show what I saw instead of talking about each and every one. For the ones that I did a video on, I'm not going to really talk about. But for those I didn't do a video on, I'll maybe give a sentence or two and kind of give my quick reaction to it. So let's just go down the list. October 1st, I recall I watched Reanimator. And then I watched House, Frankenhooker, Sensei, Tampopo, Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat. I think I talked about this one, but... Human Lanterns, Shaw Brothers Horror. Ravage, Saturn's Core. Shaw Brothers, Hero. Well, I guess it. Yeah, it is Shaw Brothers. Okay, good. I think I talked about this. Fuck the Devil. And Fuck the Devil 2, Return of the Fucker. This one I did not talk about. This is a movie that I absolutely love. Not as much as the other film by this director, or this pair of directors. But this is starring Robert Pattinson. I love this movie. It makes me feel so sick while watching it. And it is so sad. Good Time with Robert Pattinson. This one I talked about. Final Flesh. Fetish film. I may have talked about this. I do not recall. But Extra, my favorite sci-fi film. Really disgusting body horror. And then I watched from this box set the Ghastly ones. Directed by Andy Milligan. So that is the first stack. So I'm going to take a few seconds here to move everything away. That way I can go on to the next stack, which is, I believe, this one. Yes. Hopefully y'all can't see that. Oh, okay. Don't look too closely. Oh my gosh, it's so tall. Next I watched, I don't know if I talked about this, but this was a rewatch for me. I love David Cronenberg as a villain in this. I watched the Cabal cut, which was a million times better than the theatrical, if I recall right. Nightbreed. Night Ripper. I did not mean to have two in a row. I think I did talk about Night Ripper, but that one was really amazing. This one I did not talk about. This is a Gaspar Noé film. Still fucked up. All of his movies are to some degree. This one was more... I don't even know. epilepsy inducing, I guess, is the only descriptor I can give for this. But this is Lux Eterna. Pretty interesting movie. Don't really know how I feel yet. And I did review this because this is a Vinegar Syndrome September release. The Iceman Cometh, which I need to pick up the 88 Films edition because the special features are very lacking on this release. I did talk about this already. WNUF Halloween Special, 10/31, 1987. Yes, which isn't a real broadcast, by the way. Next, I saw Dracula, Prince of Darkness. And here's a movie that I have been talking about for a while, that I've been mentioning here and there. But this is one of my favorite vampire films. I absolutely love this. This is an Iranian-American film, from what I know, or from what I've been told. But this is a girl walks home alone at night. I think I mentioned it when me and Will talked about our favorite horror movies to watch this time of year, so I would go check that out. Next, I watched Carnival of Souls. This is one of my favorite 1960s horror. Definitely laid the groundwork for George Romero and David Lynch. Go watch my original review from last year, I think, to hear more. The Brides of Dracula. I think I talked about that. Oh yeah, I don't know if I talked about this, but Phantom of the Opera, Dario Argento. I actually enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought. It's still just okay, though. This one I did not talk about, but this is a Vestron release that I got pretty cheap. I remember absolutely nothing from this. I didn't really get anything out of it from what I remember, but maybe I need to rewatch this. But Sundown, or Steel Dawn, that's his name. I have the sticker kind of stuck in the way, but Nosferatu, the classic. It's 100 years old now. Crazy. Summer of Blood. I've talked about that. I've talked about this. Buried Alive. The Curse of the Werewolf, which I did a video on. I don't know if I did a video on this, but I really fucking enjoyed this one. Resurrection. The Awful Dr. Orloff by Jess Franco. And finally, not finally for today, but finally on the stack, The Grave. I don't know if I talked about this, but it is awesome. Highly recommend this one. Now to somehow put it back. Okay. Next stack. Oh, don't read it. I didn't mean to have this so high, but I watch a lot of movies. I'm sorry. Exorcist 3. Whatever the different cut is called. Try and find the name. I don't know. I forgot the name, but it has a different subtitle. Loved it. I did a whole review on it. Terminal Island. Pretty fun action movie. I don't know what I call it. One of my favorite movies ever. Spaceballs. Everyone should watch this. I highly recommend the audio commentary track, by the way. This is what I watched it on with the audio commentary on, and the entirety of it is Mel Brooks just telling us where all of the jokes and gags came from. And there was a lot, there were a lot of them that I did not really understand. And him explaining each and every one so in depth, and also talking all about the behind the scenes for it, was quite the insane experience. I highly recommend the Kino Lorbe release that they just put out. So that is Spaceballs. Next we have Saturn's Koi. No Resistance. Really enjoyed this one. Probably the best cyberpunk movie I've seen in quite a while. Maybe 16 Devils gets close. The Devil's Reign is the next one I watched, which, by the way, looks really awesome on that camera. I'm not sure why. And I finally saw this one. I kept flipping from this movie is awesome to this movie is the worst the entire way through. And by the end of it, it just balanced out to pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Wicked World. I haven't seen Things yet, so I hope to one day. This one I talked about, The Burning. Should have waited until summer to watch that, but still had a good time. This is a rewatch of a George Romero movie I haven't seen in quite a while, probably about 5-6 years maybe. Land of the Dead. Watched it with the audio commentary, and I still don't really care for the movie. I think it's fine. The ideas are interesting. I think George Romero relied a little too much on the CGI gore, although they talked about how they really tried to make it as practical as they could. But sometimes CGI just was faster to shoot than making up a whole makeup thing. Next, I watched The Diabolical Dr. Z, or Dr. Z. I'm not sure what the pronunciation is. Next, I watched a film by William Friedkin, because I was in the mood for a Friedkin film. Cruising with Al Pacino. First watch, really fucking enjoyed it. A very terrifying movie to watch, though. This one I talked about, I wasn't really wowed by it, but it's interesting historically. In Search of Dracula, an entire Christopher Lee narrated documentary about Dracula and the real world influences of Dracula. Pretty cool. You probably already know everything there is to know, though, is the issue. There's still a lot of movies left. Yeah. This one I did not care for really at all. Maybe one day I will rewatch it with the audio commentary, but this is Dario Argento's The Card Player. It's not really exciting to watch the killer go head-to-head online in a whatever poker online game. It is not interesting to me. This next one I watched because it was for the Vinegar Syndrome package review. Amityville Horror. Loved this one. A couple things that I wish went a little farther than it did, but I think this movie's terrifying already. So that is Amityville Horror. Next is A Clockwork Orange. I just rewatched this. Cult Flicks Fix traded me this for one of my titles I was getting rid of. And so I rewatched it, and it's been about 10 years since I've seen this. I read the book during high school, loved it, watched the movie, loved it, and then I never thought about it again outside of the stray mention of the movie. And so I rewatched it with the new restoration. I didn't watch it on full 4K, but I watched it on the Blu-ray of the 4K restoration. And I still love it. I think this is my favorite of the Stanley Kubrick films. I love 2001 Space Odyssey. That's probably my favorite to think about and to talk about. But I think Clockwork Orange is my personal favorite. This one's just so disturbing, great performances, really weird ideas going on, which I know came from the book, but some really great cinematography too in this movie. Gosh, this movie feels like 5 minutes, but it's more like 2 hours, I believe. So yeah, Clockwork Orange. I love it. Next, I did do a day where I just watched this box set, and I think I watched one other movie for Spooktober, but this is the Primetime Panic box set from Fun City Editions. I loved this box set as a whole. There are 2 movies that I especially loved. Well, actually, one movie that I loved a whole lot. Gave 5 stars on Letterboxd, which I don't do often. I did a lot this month, but that's just because I watched a lot of great movies. But there was something on the box. But some of the movies just did not strike me at all. It's not for me. Dreams Don't Die, I really enjoyed, but I was sort of not invested at all while watching it. And the second movie on this release, which is actually the first one that is sorted on here, well, I guess it doesn't matter how it's sorted physically, but I watched Freedom first, and then Dreams Don't Die, and then Death Ride to Osaka, which are the 3 films that are included. And Freedom is one of my favorite movies that has ever been released by Vinegar Syndrome partner label. It's really fucking awesome. I highly recommend the behind the scenes for that movie for Freedom because it's based on a true story. And everything in that movie is not really substantial when thinking about how it happened in real life. But viewing the movie as a whole and everything that happens and knowing that all of it actually happened, it's kind of insane. It's a really great watch. I really enjoyed it. Death Ride to Osaka is Jennifer Jason Leigh gets sold into prostitution in Japan, and she has her passport stolen. Nobody knows her. She can't speak Japanese. She knows a few phrases, but she's kept in a prostitution house while her boyfriend has to go save her. That movie is really fucking good too. Jennifer Jason Leigh is amazing in it. I guess I should have done a tier list or a review of this box set, but here you go. I guess I'll just do it now. But Death Ride to Osaka, I really enjoyed. That's probably my number 2. Dreams Don't Die was my number 3. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great movie. Just I did not really care for the characters. But Freedom is my favorite movie. I highly recommend the special features. It is so great. I loved this entire box set, and I can't wait to rewatch Freedom soon because it's still in my mind. Really fucking good. And then I saw the remake of The Omen, which sucked. If you did not watch that video, it was actually still playing in the other room because I just did not care. I got 75% of the way through, I think, because that was the day where I was watching a lot of single released movies. And I just remember I got to because it's a 2-hour movie, and I got to an hour and a half and I just did not care, so I stopped watching it. And I was letting it play while I was recording, hoping that the noise would pick up and people could tell that I was watching it, but I don't think the sound came through. So I'm saying now, Omen, I did not care for at all. The remake. The original, I actually did not end up rewatching this month. I really wanted to, but I just did not find the time. I was really focusing on movies I'd never seen before. But yeah, skip the remake. It's really bad. And I forgot to show this in the first stack, but this was kind of in the first 7 days. I watched 2 films by Herschel Gordon Lewis. The first one was Color Me Blood Red, and then I watched Something Weird. That's the title, Something Weird. And I really enjoyed Color Me Red. Something Weird was just okay. I actually have no recollection of Something Weird. I recall the title, but I don't remember what happened in it. That's sort of what happens with Herschel Gordon Lewis, though, a lot. I'll put this back over here. I did this stack, this one. Okay, so we're kind of halfway through, I think. Maybe 60% of the way through. This is sort of the section where I really started revving up my individual releases because I'm actually almost done with my watch list. I have a lot of box sets to get through, which I was waiting until Spooktober ended, but Oh my god. I got through a lot of releases. I got through 91 films over this month. And I know I'm just taking a break from showing it, but yeah, I watched 91 movies. And of course that does include documentaries that are loggable on Letterboxd. So maybe 85 movies I watched, but still it was a really busy month. I am ready to get back into reading. There's a few books I actually wanted to read in October in preparation for November, and I ended up getting to none of them. I got, I think, 5 chapters into one of the books I was heavily anticipating for about a year or two, called Nona the Ninth, which is book 3 of the Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Mio. And I only read like 4 chapters, I think, of that book, and then I was reading George Romero's The Living Dead book that he was almost done with before he unfortunately passed away. And that book, the first quarter, 33% are really fucking good because it's written and edited by Romero, and it was completely done by the time he passed away. But I would say from the 35% mark until I stopped reading it, which was about halfway through, it was based on outlines by George Romero. And the author, who's a good friend of George Romero, I don't fault him. I mean, it's a really unfortunate situation, but there's a noticeable difference. There's a really great chapter. It was one of the last ones I really enjoyed, chapter wise, where George Romero gives us a second person chapter through the eyes of somebody turning into a zombie and then becoming a zombie, and then watching the zombie just go into the normal behavior of seeing someone, wanting to eat them, going towards that person, reaching out to eat them fighting back, so on and so forth. But it's written in second person, which is you shamble down the hallway, you reach out for the doorknob, but whatever. It's written like it's directly to the reader, and I loved that chapter. I think it was like 2 pages long. Forgot what the name of it was, but I wish I could have gone on because I'm sure there's some really cool stuff in that book. I just did not care. It was a slog to get through the, I guess, the unfinished chapters that Romero had laying around for the co-author. But back to what movies I watched. This movie is a John Carpenter one that is very controversial, and I argue that it predicted Call of Duty. And I went in thinking that, as a joke, and then it just kept delivering. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? It's one of my favorite Carpenter films. Escape from LA. Everyone hates this movie. Everyone I know has watched it once or refuses to watch it. I was that way for the longest time, but I decided I need to be a completionist. I need to watch every John Carpenter film. And I loved it. It's definitely, I think it's more exciting than Escape from New York. I've never really cared for Escape from New York. I'm a lot more of a Big Trouble in Little China fan, but man, this one I enjoyed quite a bit. I need to rewatch it though because I was not sober while watching it. So that is Escape from LA. Really fucking enjoyed it. I'm happy to have watched it. Okay. Just so I have a room to stack it. Next, I watched this movie and loved it. I don't know how to explain my feelings because I know deep down that it's a 5-star movie. But this is one that I thought was really, really good. I think I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. But maybe if I saw this in theaters and was fully engaged with it, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. but this is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Um, Multiverse movie with a lot of really great actors like Michelle Yeoh. Um, it was really fun to see her again in a movie because she's been getting a lot of attention lately on Eureka, 88 Films. So it's nice to have like sort of a baseline for her films. So really great. I think I just don't feel as strongly as I do 2 weeks later whenever I watched it. I don't know if I talked about this one, but this is one that I haven't seen since I was a kid. Picked this up during the Scream Factory sale. Loved it. I think it's a 5 out of 5 movie, and it's definitely a good for her type of movie. Carrie by Brian De Palma. Not the remake, because I refuse to watch that piece of shit. I've actually already seen it. I hated it. But this one is perfect. I've read the book, and it takes out all the fluff from the book that I think is important in terms of the story. But I think the movie really just simplifies everything and has a really great dramatic struggle between Carrie and all of the bullies at school. Man, that ending, the last 30 minutes of it is absolute insanity. And I totally get why she does what she does. They all deserved it. On it, maybe not the teacher because she. There's a little moment where Carrie kind of cracks, and that's when she starts killing everyone, as you know. And there's a point where the camera looks like it's looking out of the eyeballs of a fly. It has like that many different images of the same thing of everyone laughing at her, and one of them was the teacher, and they were flipping back and forth between what Carrie was interpreting happening because her brain just broke after being the victim of a dumping of a bucket of pig's blood. And during that entire scene is flipping back and forth between what's actually happening, where people are screaming, running away, to people laughing and pointing at her, and one of them is the teacher. And it goes back and forth between her laughing at Carrie and her running away, trying to get away, but it's kind of insane what happens, and I don't blame Carrie at all. Those were some really shitty people that were bullying her. They deserved it. Moving on. This is one that I wasn't really hot on. I think I reviewed it, but it was Feed the Light from Severin. Just interesting enough to where I'm keeping it, and I also want to watch the short films by that director because I thought it was really well made, but I don't know. I thought it was just fine. This is one that I watched just to give myself a breather. And this is a partner label, one that is really fucking wholesome, really sweet. It was a great break from these Lovecraftian, terrifying movies. This is one with Nick Offerman, I believe, from Parks and Rec or whatever show. And this is Hot, Speed, Loud. A music store owner, his daughter is going to college soon. So he's trying to have some final memories with her before she moves off to college. And she doesn't really want to. And they bond through music. So he's always pushing her to have sort of jam sessions and having fun and just playing music together. And she doesn't want to. She just wants to do homework and so on and so forth. And so one day she decides, hey, like, okay, we'll jam. I've had a song in my head that I've been slowly working up. And so they start jamming, and he's secretly recording her music. So they finish playing the song, and it's really great. Sounds good. And she's not happy with it. And so she not deletes it, but she sort of just shuts down her laptop and doesn't save her notes about how it went, anything like that. So he's like, okay, and releases it without telling her, and it becomes this huge viral song, and you get to kind of see the fallout of that and how the relationship changes because of that. Because yes, it brought a lot of success, but she did not consent to it. She makes a point how it wasn't ready. The song wasn't ready, according to her. And he's like, "Nah, nah, it was great. It was great." And she's like, "Well, I wasn't ready to show the song to anybody." And now it's a viral hit song. So it's a really lovely movie, really wholesome. I would love to rewatch it in about 10 years when I forget everything. Hearts beat loud. Really, really enjoyed it. This next one is one that is really making me question why I collect every single Saturn's Core release. Because this is a rave production movie. I think this is the best one that they've done, but it's still just really, really hard to watch. This is Dead North. I have no recollection of what happens, but I recall that I was decently surprised about how good it was, but it's still wave, so it's really fucking bad. But I don't know. I think it's the best that they have done, but it's making me question my goal of collecting every Saturn's Core release. So before I start hiccuping, I'm gonna go fast now. Encounter of the Spooky Kind, Sammo Hung. This one that I have been deep diving into in preparation for the sequel, because I haven't seen this movie in a while. I don't know really anything about the behind the scenes. So I went through about every single documentary on this release, which is like 3 documentaries. And then I watched the movie with the audio commentary track with Toby Hooper. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, the original one. This is a DVD steelbook, if you don't know. This is really old. I got it for $1, and it's still playing. Although, one of the special features in the documentary was skipping, and I was not happy about that. So, Second Sight, hurry up and do the 4K Blu-ray combo. I can't wait for it. This one I talked about, Body Bags, John Carpenter, Toby Hooper collab. This is a Paul Schrader film that I really fucking enjoyed. It's probably my favorite of his so far that I've seen. But this is a revolutionary guerrilla sort of rebellion film by Paul Schrader. Patty Hearst. Loved this movie. I really enjoyed it. Kind of hard to believe that it actually happened. Patty Hearst. And then this one, which I loved a lot, and then discovered that I already own this through the All the Haunts box set. Dark Waters. Really fucking good. And then I actually went back to a old favorite, and I decided to watch all of the short films by this director. And this is off of his first film that he ever made, on this Criterion release of his first film by David Lynch. Not Eraserhead, but all the short films that are on this release, including 6 Men Getting Sick, The Alphabet, The Grandmother, The Amputee, version 1 and version 2. And I did not watch Premonitions Following an Evil Deed. I should watch it though. I did not realize that there was a new documentary on this release all about the movie. Wow. Okay, I'll need to watch that. This one I talked about, Saint Maud. I've been getting into Bruno Mattei lately. I didn't talk about any of these movies because I knew they were going to be a lot more fun when not sober. So, Shocking Doc. I guess I'm happy to have the DVD. I don't think I'll upgrade to Blu-ray, but the moment that this starts skipping on the DVD, I hope they release a box set so that I can rebuy all these films and then more. That way I don't have to buy the same film twice. Shocking Doc. And then I don't know if I talked about this one, but I really enjoyed it. Not really a Jackie Chan movie, more a Jimmy Wang Yu film. The Killer Meteors. Really fucking awesome design there. Okay, we're about done. 16 candles. Or 16 tongues, not candles. 16 tongues. Really awesome movie. I wish the director had more budget. I think it's the same director as so it's Scooter McRae, who has done other films that I can't remember. Damn. Shadow Dead. Okay. So he also did Shadow Dead, which was a favorite of mine. And then I watched another Bruno Mattei film, Robo Boy. I enjoyed this one a lot more, from what I remember. And I watched this movie as another kind of refresher. Studio Ghibli. By the way, I have a Studio Ghibli tattoo now. It's all up and down my arm here. I posted it on my Instagram, I think, so I would go check that out. But I watched a Studio Ghibli film just to kind of refresh it, but this is from Up on Poppy Hill. I got this for my birthday. I wanted to watch it. Still love it. The music is amazing. I love the characters. They're very, I guess, interesting. I was quite invested while watching this movie again. So, from Up on Poppy Hill. One that I've talked about already, but I loved. The Beyond. The composer's cut is out now for those who are able. And then, I guess, Sunday, I took an entire day to watch all of these. And I think I watched The Beyond that day, too. But this is the Tiger Cage trilogy. Love, number 1. Number 2 is really fucking good. And number 3 is also really good. Overall, a really great set. Really no strong feelings, though. And I also did read the booklet that comes with this release. And that was really informative, really good, really informational. I don't know if I did a review on it, but I probably won't. I just don't have many strong feelings about it. And then, Halloween Night. Here we are. I watched 4 movies, and I'll go in order of what I watched. First, I watched Halloween. I watched the Blu-ray, the new 4K. Still amazing. I don't really have anything new to say. And then I watched this movie, the next one in the series, Halloween 2. Oh my god, this restoration is so good. I haven't seen this movie in years, and the last time I saw it on a really shitty DVD. This one was absolutely amazing. It is up there with the first one, in my opinion. Yes, it's fucking stupid that the siblings, who cares? Everything else in the movie is great. So I would just ignore that plot line and just not give it any attention and just move on with your life, because life is short. So I did watch the for the original one. They have a new cut of the movie that is all about the original color timing, and it's a lot less blue, a whole lot less orange, and not just that those colors are popping out more, but more they added a filter of orange and blue during the fall scenes for orange, or the dark scenes for blue, or for the night scenes for blue. The corrected color timing is a whole lot better. I was reading up on it. There are like 4 different color timings for this movie. One of them is the original one, this one. And then there's the remaster one where they sort of just made it more natural looking. And then they did another one that was highly controversial in 2007. So they undid that one and immediately released a new one that was, I believe, this I can't remember exactly, but there's a very long history of all the different color timings for this movie. I think I like the corrected one a whole lot more, just because it's a lot more natural looking. Maybe one day I'll prefer the more extreme colors, but for now I am okay with the one I've been talking about. Halloween 2, really enjoyed it. I still think it's as good as number 1, but for different reasons. And then I watched number 3. I got this and number 2 in the Shout sale. So I finally upgraded my really shitty Blu-ray that doesn't even have subtitles. But oh my god, the coloring in this movie is so fucking good. I think I talked about all that. Yeah, I forgot that I did a review on all of these. But yeah, Halloween 3, still my favorite of the franchise. Although I've only seen those 3. I have also seen 2017 or whatever, the remake, and that one was just okay. Whatever, never watching it again. But and then I capped it all off with Trick or Treat. If you want to know more, go check out the review for that. I think it was actually pretty short because I was falling asleep in the video, but okay, my throat is absolutely dry and I am losing my voice. So that is all I watched this month. I have a few others that I can't really remember what I watched because Mutant Hunt. I watched Mutant Hunt also. And that's it. I think there's like one other movie that I watched this month that I don't have anymore. But thank you all so much for watching. I don't know if I will not ever do a video again, but I don't think I'll be doing mini videos for now on for quite a while. Maybe until the new year. I don't know. I'm quite burned out from uploading every single day, multiple times a day even, in a row. So I'm going to let kind of the YouTube algorithm maybe pick me up, give it some time to really I don't know how the algorithm works, but I hope that with all my uploads, my maybe 100 uploads that I did this month, that I will well, I guess it's more 50 uploads, but I hope that it kind of helps me in my algorithm, that I can just smooth sail from here on out, just kind of live my life. I'm kind of done uploading every single day, but thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.